പുത്തൻ വികസനാശയങ്ങൾ ചർച്ചയാക്കുന്ന മുന്നോട്ട് വെക്കുന്ന 24 ബിസിനസ് കോൺക്ലേവ് കൊച്ചിയിൽ പുരോഗമിക്കുകയാണ്. കേന്ദ്രമന്ത്രി നിതിൻ ഗഡ്കരിയാണ് കോൺക്ലേവ് ഉദ്ഘാടനം ചെയ്തത്. ബിസിനസ് കോൺക്ലേവ് തത്സമയം.
Intelligence of your company, your past, what the company was doing, the financials, the ROC formalities, and you have to define the objects. Why do you want to raise the money? That has to be very clearly defined. There has to be another thing. What the promoters generally face is the board has to be broadened. What if it's till the time it is a private limited company or a not listed company, you have your own set of board, you have your own people sitting on the board. Now once you decide to go public, your board needs to be broadened. That should be corporate governance regulations that has to be followed. LODR regulation which states that at least 50% of the board needs to be an independent director. So you need to appoint independent directors. There needs to be appoint of women directors. All that has to be taken. Once everything is done, once your document is prepared, what you call as a DRHP, with the objects of the issue, with the history, with the company's business, everything written, then you file it with the stock exchanges and the SEBI. They legally vet the documents, they give the clearance, then you do the marketing of the issue. The merchant bankers helps you out and do the marketing of the issue, and once the marketing is done, you open the issue and list the shares. So this is a process. Though it looks simple, it is a bit complicated, but I'm sure the benefits of the process is way far better. Thank you.
Thank you, Radha. You wanted to add something, Harsha?
I think over and above, a very important and simple question I'd like to answer here. I'm interacting since morning, couple of founders here. Let me ask the participants, how many of you are the owner of the company or first line of command for a company? Can you raise your hand, please? Couple of people, yes. And how many of you are in operation from last 3 years? 3 years operation history. Almost all. How many of you have got 2 years positive EBITDA, operational profit more than 1 crore? And if you are managing your company well, I think you're all who raised the hand are eligible. This is as simple.
Just one thing more, Ujaji. How many of you list in other you invest in other companies? So why not have your own company wherein you have to do your business and people can invest in your companies?
So I come to that later on, but somebody asked me this question. It's very difficult to get listed. I think first and foremost thing is at least you're eligible. So most of you which are sitting in this room and owning the companies are eligible. This is the first thing. Second thing is, first already Radha has told you, I think there are people, exchange officials, there's an entire ecosystem which help you to come on board on the public listing market. Now, very important fact which I like to share is, I just like to share one data and then I hand over to Pradeep. I was just reading the data, 14 lakh, almost 14 lakh MSME are registered from Kerala. 1,400 are medium industries having 50 crore and more capex. Only 3 are listed in last 12 years. Now, I don't expect a state like Kerala having highest literacy rate, highest sex ratio, very prosper. 20% of your young generation goes out, and repatriate the money. I mean, reasonably rich people, investment in doing a stock market also, but your companies, are not listed. I think I expect more from Kerala and that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you, Harsha, for that. In fact, I interact a lot with the young generation in Kerala. And in the last 15-20 years, I've seen one major migration which is happening. When we started working, the migration was that people in my age group used to go outside India or outside the state to start working because they never found good employment opportunities here. Today, another, kind of migration which I'm seeing is that from the colleges, you are not seeing good quality students wanting to study in the colleges in Kerala. They find that the educational opportunities or the quality of the education outside Kerala is much, much better. So this, I think, is actually going to create a huge demographic problem for Kerala in the coming years unless that is going to be addressed. And definitely, I think one way in which it can be addressed is if the companies which exist in Kerala or the new companies which want to be established in Kerala are able to raise meaningful capital, which basically will allow them to not only retain talent but also attract the talent from outside. Harsha, another question to you is with respect to this green IPOs. Do you see any trends which are coming towards green IPOs in India? What should companies do to align their business models and sustainability to attract long-term capital for that?
Yeah, so again, I will share some data. I'm very happy to share, and I think it's a proud moment for every Indian. Last year, in terms of number of IPOs, India is the leading country. So I'll share some data. Last year, I'm talking about calendar year right now, we had done around, I'm talking about NSE again, not BSE including here. We did around 268 IPOs, 190 in SMEs and around 78 in 198 in SMEs and 90 in main board. Cumulative raising around $19.5 billion. Now here comes the statistics. $19.5 billion which we raised is much higher than what Nasdaq did. They did around 15.7. What S&P 500 did around 12.7. So a number of IPOs which are larger than US markets. Now, very important thing is what we did 268 are much higher than the entire Asia did. Asia means Shanghai Exchange, Hong Kong and Japan. What they cumulative did, they did around 212, 214. We did 268. Now, seeing this, we need to ask the question, where exactly this number of IPOs coming from? And here comes my answer to Pradeep. Very interesting fact we noticed last year in NSE Exchange, out of $19.7 billion, 25% money was raised by green companies. Ola, Wari Solar, Acme, and other like similar companies. In fact, EPC companies. So companies which are into green businesses like renewable, like green hydrogen, electric vehicle, or for that matter, transmission. I'm counting transmission as a part of this because they're adding certain transmission lines which are complementing only the green revolution in the country. 22% money has been raised by green companies, which is a good sum. In SMEs also, I saw that around 1100 crores have been raised by SMEs companies. Around 16 issues are there. Again, both the places, be it SME IPO or be it main board IPO, green companies have contributed a lot. And believe me, for green companies, there is a huge traction. I was meeting in the morning one founder who is into the equipment manufacturing for renewables, especially solar inverter, solar UPS, or also EV batteries. And I already filed the papers. He's coming to NSE. What I'm suggesting here, the green is the flavor of the season, in fact, and investors are really giving them the good premium. All the companies which got listed, most of them has made the money, listing gains, and they still are having high prices. The idea is even those companies which are not into green, but they are buying the power or they are using the electricity, they can also add some element of green by going solar, putting on the rooftop, or by putting some captive power, or converting some of their portfolio into green energy. I think even SME promoter which are thinking to go for IPOs, if they can follow certain sustainable practices, especially taking their P&L item of buying electricity from the utilities or from thermal power plant to solar or from wind, that matter is a huge premium. I will have offline discussion with those promoters, but at this stage I'm saying green is the flavor. Investors are really giving good premium to all these companies. Companies are following very smart and good technologies in terms of adopting renewables, and all this is being, you can reward it in terms of higher valuation in the market. Thank you.
Thank you, Harsha, for that. And I think green is something very, very important for a state.
For Business Conclave, IPO സംബന്ധിച്ച വിശദമായ ചർച്ചയാണ് പുരോഗമിക്കുന്നത്. പാനൽ ഡിസ്കഷന്റെ ഭാഗമാണ് ഇപ്പോൾ പ്രേക്ഷകർ കണ്ടത്.